Hey everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to my Bible journaling channel. Today is Faithful Friday, where I dive into the next page in the book I'm currently working through. And in this case, that's the book of Psalms. And here I journaled a few verses from Psalm chapter 3. A bit of background here on Psalm chapter 3. This is a psalm written by King David, and it was written in the midst of him fleeing for his life from one of his sons named Absalom. And as I'm outlining the verses here, I just wanted to talk about briefly Absalom's plans against David. They apparently included taking over the city, killing everyone in it. And these are really serious things, and so it's no wonder that David was fleeing. And the verses then become so much more powerful when you read them from Psalm chapter 3, beginning in verse 3. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. Such comforting verses in the midst of turmoil, and David knew turmoil better than the rest of us, I would assume. I am fortunate to have never been in a situation where someone was after me and in pursuit of my life or the kingdom of which I was in charge. However, we do all have these times in our lives when we really start to wonder, Lord, where are you? Why is life difficult? Why are there hard things happening? And that's a long discussion, and that's maybe a discussion for a different video. But within these verses, we see that David considered God himself to be a shield around him. And I believe that we can claim this characteristic of God in our own lives, that he can be a shield for us as well. So I sketched out the very basic shape of a shield in my Bible margin, and then I sort of partitioned it off into sections and added some lettering to each section to sort of break up this verse a little bit. And I'm really focused on verse 3 on the shield itself. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me. So I'm just using my Crayola Twistable colored pencils here. You guys know how much I love them, and they're inexpensive and they're easy and they are so smooth on the page of your Bible. And I'm just going through first and outlining each section with a pretty heavy hand and also adding in the lettering that was there. I did erase most of the pencil marks before I'm doing this so that there'll be a minimal amount of the gray pencil left over when I'm done. And you can see I just alternated here between capital letters and lowercase and some cursive and some sort of blocky letters, some sort of tall skinny letters. And this was just a really fun process for me creating this shield while I thought about how I need to be better at trusting the Lord for his protection in my life. I know many of us don't live in the midst of severe danger. However, we do live in a fallen world where bad stuff happens, and we don't need to be paranoid about that. But we do really need to be aware, I think, of actively placing God in this position to be the shield about us, to be the shield in our lives. If we're not counting on God to be the shield in our lives, we might be counting on something else, whether it's living in a safe neighborhood, having an alarm system on our house, whatever it is that we're placing trust in instead of trusting in the Lord. And none of those things are bad things either. But I was feeling more and more convinced that I just need to be sure that I have God in the position of the shield in my life and nothing else. Nothing is bigger, nothing is stronger, nothing is better for protection than God himself. Here I'm going in with some of the black colored pencil, and I'm adding a shadow sort of behind or under the shield, and that's going to cause it to kind of pop up off of the page, which is kind of a fun effect. And I'm doing the same thing over here to the box where I boxed in these Bible verses. And I'm just using the heaviest hand right up against the edge and then sort of fading it out a little bit as I go. I also grabbed a very fine-tipped black pen and just added a nice sharp edge to the side of the shield there. Now, as I surveyed this page and looked at it in contrast to the pages around it, or in relation to the pages around it, I really felt like it needed a border to set it apart, just like all of the other entries on these two pages. And so I grabbed a water-soluble oil pastel, and I'm using a baby wipe here just to blend it out. I used the tiniest amount of black around each corner of this section of the page, and then just went in with the baby wipe to blend it out. And I really think that set it apart on the page much better than if it had nothing around it. Quickly, I used my blow dryer just to blow dry away any extra moisture and flatten out the page. And then it was done. Not a complicated page, but just a really deep thought to meditate on, that the Lord is the shield about us. I hope that you found that to be true in your life, and I hope that you can jump in and interact with Psalm 3 if you haven't already. I hope that you are having a wonderful day, and thanks so much for watching and being a part of this awesome community. God bless.